Natasha, hey, congratulations for your new film, Abraham Boys, A Dracula Story.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, so tell us how did this project actually came about with you?
hmm so I had been familiar with this short story just from Joe Hill's collection of 20th century ghosts, but never sort of thought about it as a feature film, as a potentially a feature film. So the producers actually sent it to me and said, "Hey, do you think there's anything here for a film?" And once I started thinking about it in that context, I got very excited because there's just such a rich history and so much to pull from that I felt immediately like, yes, there is definitely something here. So yeah, it all started with the short story and then sort of taking what Joe put together in the short story and just expanding on it and making it a little bit bigger and starting to pull on some of the threads that he started putting into the story. So yeah, it was a pretty much immediate yes.
It's always challenging to put something into writing onto screen, especially expanding on something that what was a short story. Can you talk about your process, especially working with Joe, trying to create a feature film in this case, and to keep it as Joe's story, but put a stamp of you into this?
Definitely, yeah. Well, first and foremost, I went back to Dracula. So I went back to Bram Stoker's Dracula and just made sure I really felt confident that everything that we would be putting forward with the film would also tie back not just to his short story, but all the way back to Dracula. Because, I really wanted everything to feel like it was part of one world and consistent with what Bram Stoker had initially written in the source material. And then I knew that the short story was always going to be kind of in the middle of the film. It was going to be this sort of turning point, midpoint of the movie. So then from there, I just sort of worked backwards. I knew I wanted to bring Mina, the mother, back into the story and sort of see the dynamic of the family while she was still a part of it. And then what happens after the short story. So it was really just putting the story right in the middle and then moving forwards and moving backwards.
I was actually fascinated about this film because your cinematography and how you actually handle it almost felt like it wasn't a horror film, but it is. But yet, you're talking about a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. A lot of the scenes were filmed in daylight. How do you try to transform that into sort of like an unexpected setting that any surprise could actually lurk about?
Yeah, I mean, I love sunlit vampire stories. I think sun-soaked vampire is great because it immediately subverts, right? Like we associate vampire with night. So I think this sort of false security, I guess, maybe of being during daytime is a fun mislead. And I think also, there is something oppressive about the daylight in this film, right? Like the sky is so big, they're so isolated that it's the opposite of London. It's the opposite of the Dracula we've seen before, that is this sort of mountains and castles and London, Victorian era London. And so going into this entirely new context, but still trying to hit those same themes, um, felt exciting to us. Like it was something different and new, while still being truthful and honest to the source material.
And one last thing, Natasha, do you love taking our heroic characters and making it a twist on something else?
I do. I do. I think questioning who are the heroes and who are the villains is something we should all do every day in our lives.
So true. Thank you very much, Natasha, for speaking to us about Abraham Boyce, a Dracula story. Every horror fan will be delighted to watch this.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.